I've been having a chat with Gitikka since yesterday, and I can assure you she's a delight to speak to. Uh, and I can assure you, you will have a lot of takeaways after this chat. So before we start, Gitikka, let me ask this room, by a show of hands, how many of you have watched this movie called Animal? Nobody has watched it? Okay. Thank you. Animal. Ranbir Kapoor starrer Animal. Okay, never mind. Okay, so to give a little bit of context here, Gitikka, I had reviewed the movie on social media, which actually gathered a lot of shares, over 100, I suppose, shares, and reached hundreds of women. Which gets me to the point that we are actually here to discuss is the power of communication that, you know, a person like this holds, right? Gitikka, first of all, can you just shed light on why do you think that such a movie should not have been released?
So see, we live in a free world. You're allowed to think what you want and write what you want and make the kind of movie that you want. But I just want to place a few facts in front of all of you and for you too, and all of those people watching us online. Last year, the size of the Indian film industry touched 172 billion rupees. Now, if you divide that by approximately 300 rupees a ticket, imagine the number of people that went into halls to watch movies across our country. Now, our top paying stars amongst the men were Shah Rukh Khan, there was Rajinikanth, and amongst the women we had Deepika Padukone. The top films were Pathan, The Kerala Story, mind you, and Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway. These were the 3 films among the top 10 films that did very well last year. Anywhere, I don't see the need to rake in 700 crores by making a film like Animal. Now, if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. UN, the United Nations, they say it is going to take 131 years for the world to fill the gender gap, 169 years to level economic parity between the male and the female gender. For hundreds of years in our own country, we've had governments, we've had social institutions, individuals, communities, societies work so hard to try and better life for women across the country. And in a country like ours, where you have so many in the population who are so impressionable, right? You release a film like Animal, and you tell them that the protagonist, who's played by Ranbir Kapoor, a very popular star in India, is doing this. And hey, in some way, you can do this too. I think it just puts so much of water on all those efforts that so many people working across the country are trying to do to change how we live and breathe in our country. And that is why a film like Animal, if released, should have received a few cuts here and there. And I think as communicators, we have to realize that with the power, the great power that filmmaking has in our country, cinema has in our country, comes a very, very, very great responsibility. You know, even Martin Scorsese had once said that cinema has the power to, of course, touch your heart, awaken your vision. Cinema has the power to change the way you think. It's a great responsibility. When you release a film like Animal, Jiska last shot is the male protagonist sitting with his legs apart, pointing to his pelvic region, and making it seem like the coolest thing in the world to do. I'm sorry, I don't think that that is what our audience should be seeing. If you are ready to take in a film like Animal, if you are evolved thus, if you are not impressionable, you are ready to get triggered, go ahead, watch it. But please tell me that majority of our population that goes into halls across the country is ready to watch a film like that and correctly decipher and understand the messaging. I don't think so.
With that, I'm coming to the point now. So the response that this review saw was massive. So that sort of establishes the power that you hold as, having been in the industry for so long as an MC, as a communicator, right? And I believe content, getting the content right plays some role here. And I think you're close to 25 years in the industry next year, right?
Yes.
Why did you choose that content to be your USP when you're communicating, as an MC?
So to answer the first part of your question as to why we had a lot of shares to that post, I'd like to believe that I've always in my life tried to speak the truth. Whatever price I pay for the truth, I don't care. Because I believe that when you speak the truth, especially truth that betters society around you, communities around you, humanity around you, then we have the duty to speak it. And that is why probably when I say something, a lot of people online who are reading it, tend to know that this is not coming with any agenda, it's coming straight from the space of truth, and that is why probably people shared it ahead so heavily. You asked me about why content was my USP. So in the first phase of my career, which rolled out from Delhi, even then content really was my USP. Let me just say, I know no other way. Like Maverick in Top Gun says, this is the only face I have. So content is the only way I know how to, approach an event. But in the second phase of my career, when I came back, I remember telling you this yesterday, I had just delivered a child. I was a little heavier than I'd like to be. I wasn't on social media, I wasn't networking, so on and so forth. And I remember coming back to an industry where even the best of friends were not picking calls and not replying to mails, not giving meetings. And I worked my way up from there. Because I told myself that, listen, if they're doing this to me and I think I'm pretty decent at what I do, this is wrong. The men out there, the male gaze, cannot decide when a woman's career is going to end. So I think somewhere that challenged me, and I worked to prove that wrong. So in a situation where you're saying you're challenging the male gaze and you're not going to submit to it, which essentially translates into the fact that you're not stepping onto stages, wearing clothes or your makeup or your hairstyle that caters to that male gaze. It's done for yourself. It's not done to cater to the male gaze, whether it's my corporate client or my government client or my agency client. If I have to dress a certain way, I'll do it with my own will and wish. It won't be done because I need to cater to the male gaze. So when you're not doing that as an MC on stage, you also have energy, you can engage very well, you write a decent script. Content automatically becomes your mainstay because really there is nothing else then to the whole story. And I also very clearly believe that the job of an MC is not to merely connect. We are here to add a lot of value to the proceedings of the event. It is such a massive opportunity to, give out a programmed, pre-decided message through your MC to your target audience. And content, if not, I ask this to everyone, if not content, the USP of an MC, then please tell me what else. It's like saying that, you want to breathe, but can we use nitrogen instead of oxygen to breathe? An MC's USP has to be his or her content. Or kya chahiye? Once you have content, then of course the frills and the fancies of what you're wearing, how your makeup is, how your lighting is, how your sound system is mic'd. All of that, how you network, how you market yourself on social media. First, from 1 to 10, it's content, and nothing else. And there's this very famous saying that goes, content is king and content is the whole kingdom. So when I launched my company, which creates content, we changed that tagline a little bit and we said, content is queen. So we're having fun with content and yeah.
No, Gitikka, I'm glad you pointed some things out because since morning we have had conversations which are in the light. We have not seen the dark side of it yet. I heard you mentioned about a lot of challenges that are still existing as compared to, when it started off way back. What are the challenges that MCs, and especially like you mentioned, the female MCs challenge, getting through the male gaze. What are these challenges? How much have they increased, or how have are they more prevalent today as compared to when you started off? What's the scenario like today?
Whenever you see a problem facing you, look within and ask yourself, what are you that you're doing wrong? What is it that you're doing wrong? I believe that all the challenges that face female MCs today in our country will just melt away, go away, vanish if their act was super. If your content is super, the way you approach an event is professional, you're disciplined on location, you're a support to the team that you're working with, you're looking your best presentable self, there will be no challenge. There will be no challenge. Let's just say that many of us who were working 15 years ago, we've laid the groundwork. We've done the groundwork for all of the ladies now in the business to really easily, breezily breeze through what we've worked very, very hard to create, this road that we've paved. The challenges I faced were very backbreaking. They were very heartbreaking. For an educated girl like me from an army background, and who was decent at what she did, I had a good voice, I still do, I wrote well, I spoke well, I interacted well, I was disciplined, professional, everything. I was still not wanted on events because I had crossed the age of 36. I was a little heavy. I wasn't on social media. I wasn't networking. And that enraged me. There was no support, no realization of the fact that I was a new mother. There was no support for scripting. There was no support for makeup. People just, at that point in time, wanted someone who would just look very, very good. It didn't matter at all what that looking good was saying on stage, what was she doing on stage. And so I had to work through the dominance of a very cosmetic kind of anchoring that was happening way back then. It really, really, really took a lot of hard work. I gave 150% to everything, every project that I did to be able to break through that clutter. And I remember also picking the phone up on EMA, which is the Event and Entertainment Management Association of India, and telling them that you have an annual show. Imagine, can I just come in and host for the audience that you have there? Biggest agencies in the country sit and watch that show. Maybe they'd see what I have to offer. So I really worked my way up. Now I think it's super for all the male MCs and the female MCs. You have script writers writing your scripts. You have makeup people doing your makeup. You are dropped, picked up. You have security on events. You have great lighting. You have fantastic tech that you're working. अगर अब भी आप वो नहीं deliver कर पा रहे हैं जिसके लिए आपको engage किया जाता है, then it's something that you need to look within. Then the challenges are coming because you're not delivering.
Duly noted, Gitikka. But you reach a certain age, like you mentioned, you face that. After reaching a certain age, MCs face some things. When they are young enough, are they lured into things because they know people know that they lack experience? They might not be as aware. Are they lured into
Lured into?
As in
Spell it out.
As in, do you think the young MCs get lured into, bad situations or situations, harmful situations?
Barters?
Yeah, exactly.
No one can lure anybody into anything. If you as a professional want to replace the offering of the core content of your job with something else, that is your wish. I don't judge that, sorry. Let's not judge them at all. As human beings, we have free will to do what we want as long as it's not causing harm and damage to somebody else. It's their wish. I don't judge it. I don't look down upon it. It's their choice. But there is an easier way. Just do your work. That's all. Isn't that the easier way? Why even invest your time and effort in all the other barters that are expected and are sort of, they do happen. They happen in every industry, right, not just in ours. And it's not just the women who face it, it's also the men who face it. Let me just put that on the table here.
I mentioned young MCs, right? Both sides.
Not just young, I think it happens across ages. It depends on what stage of your career you're in and how badly you need to break through. And it's their choice. They do it. We don't look down upon it. It's a part of the system. Hopefully, they will all realize that there is a much easier way to gain success, and it's simply by working very hard. That's all. Simple.
Right. Coming to a different angle now, Gitikka, do you think the seriousness, the effort that was put in when you had started off, do you think it's still being done by the new MCs that are coming in today, the younger ones? Are they putting in like that sort of an effort, or do you think there's a, that lack of effort as compared to the 20 years
So
ago?
I'll tell you, and I'm going to sort of, I think, tick off a lot of people in this hall here, but please forgive me because I come from a place where I truly care, because this is a category that probably I was one of the first 5 or 6 in the country. I deeply care where this goes. I feel that MCs have begun to confuse themselves with film stars.
Well said.
MCs have a different role to play, on an event, or if they're on television, or if they're online. Yes, you can structure your career and your presence on those lines of being a film star, but then please also note that the film stars who are at the top, who are doing the best work and giving the biggest films, still have to deliver their core craft, which is acting. Even when you see a Shah Rukh do a Pathan, you see that he has really worked hard to try and deliver the best version of a performance that he can. Or if you see a Ranveer, he's working hard to deliver a good performance. And then comes everything else. Then comes your social media presence, then comes your networking, then comes all of it. How you look, what you wear, but core craft. I have a question to ask everyone here, and it's not something that is coming from a pompous place. It sounds like that, but it's not. This is my 24th year in action, and I'm not an MC who's on the sidelines. I am very actively doing some of the best work that the agencies in the country have to offer on main stages across the country. 24 years. Why have I not been booted out? Why hasn't there been someone else to come in and take all this away from me? Thank you, Anurag. So I'm telling you, even today, if I listen to Roshan on stage, Roshan Abbas, I'm delighted. Even today when I see Mini Mathur come and host a show, I'm delighted. So why are these names time and again stepping onto stages despite having been around for almost 25, 30 years? Because probably they're delivering the core of their craft. And I look forward to that day. I've had a great career. My stomach is so full, I'm satiated. The more years I get, the more wonderfully I will enjoy them. But I would look forward to that day when I see someone and I say, oh man, she scares me, she's competition. I would love to look forward to that day. I sound really pompous, but I'm not. It's because I deeply care for the category.
Gitikka, your stomach might be full, but I'm sure the audience is always craving to listen to you as a communicator.
I hope so.
Which gets me, you have stopped participating in MC award shows. Why? I mean, do you think it's, why have you, I will keep it as open, why don't you participate in those shows?
So I stopped a few years ago. I have so many of them. I've really been blessed. And they're a matter of great pride to me. I won't deny that. But then there came a point, where I wanted to be on ground zero every day. Every time I sign a new show, I say, okay, now this, I want to do a little better, a little differently. I want to say some new things. I want to learn a few new quotes, new shlokas, new content. Just be on ground zero. It came to a point where I just wanted to be me in my little universe and say that, and I feel this, truly feel this, that there's so much more that I can learn, there's so much more that I can do as an anchor. And I don't need these awards at all anymore, to make me happy. They were not doing anything to add to my happiness. I wanted to be zero and say that I'm my own jury, and with every show I will judge myself, and I will grow even more, even more, even more. And that's the whole reason why I just completely stopped, because it wasn't doing anything to add to my happiness. I look forward to that day where I feel that, you know, I've really done a damn good job. I still don't feel that I've ever done a very, very good job. The day I feel that, I'll institute an award and I'll give it to myself.
Never feeling content, totally. No, I totally get that.
No, I don't. I know that nobody's going to believe me here. But Sid, my friend sitting there, knows that I constantly yearn for feedback. I yearn to be better. It's a long journey. Somewhere the awards just, they just lost their sparkle for me. And I'm very grateful for all the awards that even you, sir, have bestowed me on. But there comes a point when you just need to go inwards.
So where do we see Gitikka's future as a communicator? What are your new ways ahead?
Oh, so emceeing has been a blessing. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would touch 25 years as an MC in India. It's been a dream. I mean, I still sometimes pinch myself. Okay, it's just gone on and on. Every 5 years, Sohini, I would say, अब तो बस हो गया, अब खत्म हो गया, अब नहीं होने वाला, अब नहीं काम मिलेगा. And then I think somewhere in that अब नहीं काम मिलेगा, you know, thing, I would evolve, I would change, I would bring up something new, I would do something different, and it just kept going. But this is a career that I would love for it to keep going, because it's a well-oiled machine, and I am a sensible businesswoman also. It's superb financially. It's something that I now do with great joy. It's easy for me. I have a whole team that backs me up on this. But apart from this, I'm so looking forward to next year beginning a career in motivational speaking, transformational speaking. My book is almost ready. We're looking at taking across the country MC workshops to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And my dream project being taking a plan for the girl child to the Prime Minister once he comes back next term. So lots and lots of things.
So how do we sign up for the MC workshops?
How do you sign up for the MC workshops? Well, they'll be all over. Sign up. You don't need an MC workshop. You can come teach me a few things.
Everybody can use a workshop from you. Okay, so apart from discussions, I think we can do a quick fun segment of a rapid fire questionnaire with Gitikka, right?
Oh God, this is scary.
It's fun.
Given the board that I am.
Okay, Gitikka, let's go. Your favorite speaker, or favorite motivational speaker?
My favorite speaker would be the past president, Obama. And I quite like how Oprah Winfrey can involve an audience's heart and mind both. I quite like that.
A leader you look up to?
Field Marshal Manik Shaw.
Nice.
Isn't he yummy? Yes. And what a great leader. You know that scene from that film where he knows the service number of the guard at the Ashok Hotel?
Right.
That's completely true. And my dad, who was in the army, told me that he had this knack of remembering everybody's service numbers, names, where I've met you, what you were doing that day. So he indeed was a very, very great leader, Field Marshal Manik Shaw.
Share with us your experience of your best stage show ever.
Stage show. Okay, so it would be, given the overthinker that I am, the most challenging show I did was called Main Bhi Chaukidar, which was a few years ago. And it placed me with the Honorable Prime Minister on a stage for 2 hours. And I, as usual, in my own, you know, oh, I'm too cool thing, went on without cue cards and without a teleprompter, and for 2 hours to, you know, be there with him on that stage with massive uplinking happening left, right, and center. We were linking to 22 cities. We had him speaking at intervals. We had me plugging things. We had a live audience. And of course, you know, the kind of stress that is happening backstage when Sir is on stage. So that was probably the most difficult show I have done in my life. When I came down, I slept for 3 days. That was the stress was here. So I think after that I said, never again will I do something so difficult. It was so difficult. Ask me about my worst show.
Yeah, I was coming to that. We can speak of best, we have to speak of the worst.
No, because it's important, you know, to share with my colleagues who are sitting here that there are days when you just do something the job so wrong. I recently did a show in Bombay. I won't name the show because jiska show hai usse acha nahi lagega. But we had a lot of marketing heads from across the country sitting, and a part of my soul I know is male. So I have a lot of alpha in me. And sometimes when you're on stage and you exert that alpha without knowing how hard you're exerting it, it doesn't really look very palatable. You know what I mean? So I remember coming back home, and my dearest friend Sabas called me and said, "What have you done today? Go back and look at the video." And I looked at the video and I was horrified. And it was a lesson that just recently, I think a few months ago, that I learned that because of being very confident, because of being very well prepared, or because of being where one has reached, you cannot let that kick into your persona on stage. On stage, you have a role to play which is definitely subservient to the brand or the theme of the show. And that lesson I learned that day, that I have to control the alpha, control the confidence, and bring it to a level where it doesn't turn my audience off. So it was a huge blow. I think didn't talk for 10 days to anybody. I was so ashamed of that performance. But I learned from it, and I think I haven't done that after that.
As long as we learn from it, right?
Yeah.
With that, Gitikka, we'll have to wrap the conversation because my event team has been showing me a time's up sign from here and there. So I think we'll have one audience question if anyone has anything. No? Okay. Yes. Works without the mic, I think, yeah.
Do I need to do it?
So, well, earlier I would be reading a lot, and I'm a mother, so I'm hands-on with my child. But now I'm in the middle of, when I'm not doing a show. When I'm doing a show, it's not that it takes only one day out of my calendar. Most of the projects I now do are large format projects, and they are specialized themes. So it does take 2 to 3 days of research, scripting, what you're wearing, rehearsals, which I do privately in my own studio, all of that. So it takes me 3 days to execute a single show, and then post the show 1 day to rest. But apart from that, I'm in the middle of reading various versions of the Mahabharata and the Bible. And because a lot of it is going to go into my motivational talks. So right now my time is spent taking in a lot of learning and trying to understand things in the correct perspective so that I'm able to write my speeches better. However, I don't think for an MC there is really too much you can do apart from delivering on stage. You just keep reading. You travel, you read. ऐसा कुछ rocket science नहीं करने की ज़रूरत है. आप जब काम आए उसको अच्छे से कर दो, बस उतना ही बहुत है.
Very well.
And you do it so well, Aditya.
Very well, Gitikka. This has been lovely. Thank you so much for sharing your insights.